Managing contacts, automations, and appointments in HighLevel can get real messy real fast, especially if you're not using the smart hacks that are smart lists. I'm Catherine Ferris, owner of Marketecs and Marketecs Engine, and today we're talking about smart lists in HighLevel. We are going to cover what they are, how to build them, and when to use them. Smart lists are essentially pre-built and saved filters for your data. So you could have certain amounts of information that you need to report on every single day, week, month, whatever it might be. You filter the data in your contacts or in your appointments, even within your workflows, and then you can quickly re-pull that data up at a moment's notice. So whether you're segmenting leads, tracking no-shows, or verifying logical data within automations, smart lists are, well, smart. So let's dive in and take a look. Okay, so here we are inside of HighLevel, or better yet, our version of HighLevel Marketecs Engine. Now, where I'm going to come to first over here on the menu is contacts. Now, this is probably the most commonly used place for smart list is in your actual CRM to navigate and filter through contacts to make different lists of contacts. So when we come into contacts, we actually land, if you look at the top menu here, right on Smart Lists. This is sort of the starting point within your contact screen. So all is here by default. And then these are additional lists, and I am in a demo account. So I've used this for other videos that you may have seen, but there are additional smart lists that I've created here using filters. So you can keep adding to this. You can make as many smart filters or as many smart lists as you would like. So how this works is over here under the filtering options. And what you'll find in HighLevel is that there's a lot of places that include filters. Filters are included in many different areas, but there's three main areas that actually include this smart list feature. And this one here is the most robust. So under filters, these are all the things you can filter by here in your contact screen. So you can do, business name is empty, is not empty. So maybe you want to find all the people that actually have a business name in here, all the contacts that have a business name. Or if it's empty, you're looking for all the ones that don't so that you can ask them what their business is. And right now in this demo account, I am not going to have any that have a business name. So we'll say is empty. And as you start putting that filter structure in, it live updates behind you so you can start to see if you're building a filter that's going to actually turn out any results. So in this case right now, I have one filter set here. The business name is empty. So maybe I want the business name is empty and they have the email address is not empty. So I want to make sure I have both of these. I can apply. And again, we keep live updating in the background here. And then maybe there's a particular tag I want here. They've opted in for a particular lead magnet or something around those ideas. So we would add a particular tag, and this is for lead magnet. And look at that, we do still have one person. And now I'm going to save this as a smart list by clicking on the button down here at the bottom. Naming is really important, especially as you grow your library of smart lists here. You could have quite a variety of different things you want to pull. So this was no business, name, email, and there was a lead magnet. And I would name it better than this, but for the sake of time, we'll just put that in there. And you can see where the name shows up here. So keeping it fairly short is important, but it also needs to be descriptive. So in this case, if every week I'm looking to pull a report of everyone in the system that recently opted in for this particular lead magnet is missing a business name, but has an email address because I maybe want to reach out to them and find out what their business is, or maybe it's a manual process of filling in the business name. There's lots of reasons why you would filter a list here, but I can quickly pull this list up. Maybe you're looking to pull a list of everyone who's missing an email address in your system and you want to go through every week and do cleanup on that list. That's another really good one to pull. Another one that I typically have set up, I'm going to go back to my all, but another list that I typically have set up is looking for bad email addresses. Now, the list of things you can filter for here is very long. You will notice sources and tags and types. And the one I'm going to be looking for here is valid email. But just looking down this list, you can see activity type. You can also see pipeline stages, if they're in any particular community or group within this system, if they bought a particular product, if they have a certain attribution key, if they have any custom fields that you've built out, you can filter by all of these things. So because this list is long, the filter search can often be helpful. So I'm going to type in email, and what I was looking for was whether they have a valid email. And I'm going to say, okay, anyone with an invalid email. And this one actually does pull up two options: save as an invalid email list. And this is a pretty popular one that I have in all of our accounts. This is a list, these are people that we don't want to have on our newsletter list because they're not going to get it anyway, and it's not going to help our email deliverability. It's also a case of maybe somebody typed in their email wrong and we need to fix it. So this is a good list to actually have on all of your accounts, and then to just check regularly whether you have an admin checking this weekly or monthly or whatever that is. Invalid email is just a pretty standard one. Another one that I talked about in another video was I did a filter for anyone with the state of Texas in their address or a Texas area code in their phone number. And this is in an effort to make sure we know who we need to unsubscribe from SMS in our situation, because we're not willing to follow the new SMS rules in Texas. If you're not aware of that, you want to go check out that other video. All right, so now that we covered creating smart lists and contacts, I want to point out here this option to manage your smart lists. So once you've created smart lists here in the contact section only, you have this section for manage your smart lists. It's going to show you which ones you have. You can reorganize them here, put them so that they will show up in a different order when you're back on your home screen there. You can also copy them and then make edits. You can share them. So this is kind of an important distinction. Quite often somebody will create a smart list and then send it by link to somebody else and be like, oh, check out all the contacts on this list, and the other user can't see them. And the reason is because it hasn't been shared. So if you want your smart list to be shared with other people, you can choose everyone, or you could choose just particular users, and you would hit save, and then they would have the visibility of that. Again, you can edit this name and then you can delete it from here as well. So important to remember the sharing aspect on the contact smart lists. All right, so going back to all, I believe the only thing we haven't covered as far as contacts is simply editing. So if I go into one of my smart lists and I go into filters, I can do another filter in here, and we'll just go with email is valid on this one. So maybe you're looking for a particular name and a valid email address. And then from here, you can either save your changes or actually save this as a whole new list, or you can undo. But I am going to go ahead and save. All right, so pretty straightforward. You decide what filters you need, you save your smart lists, and then you can manage them for sharing, organizing, or cleaning up. So the next area, probably the second most important area for smart lists, is automations. And this is actually used quite a bit differently, but still really important. I'm interrupting this video to make sure there's no confusion about HighLevel or about how to work with me. If you want to try HighLevel but don't want to waste months trying to figure it out, I have two very clear options for you to consider. If you're looking to build an agency or a SaaS business, head over to marketecs.com/HighLevel. By using our affiliate link, which costs you nothing, you will get the following bonuses. Our Marketecs Engine Core Snapshot. This is all of the features that we install in every new Marketecs Engine user account, and we're giving it to you for free as an affiliate. Our onboarding guides and access to our private community. An invitation to join our weekly live office hours, where I will answer questions and share tips that I've learned throughout the week. And I'm constantly learning. There is so many new features and things to learn in this industry as a whole, not to mention within the HighLevel platform. Plus, we'll give you our additional templates, checklists, and a migration guide. That's option number one. Option two is if you are a business owner looking to improve your tech stack and you don't want to do it alone. You would like a trusted strategic partner that speaks the language, brings you time-tested automations, proven strategies, and up-to-date learning. Then go to marketexengine.com and book a consultation with me to learn more about our high-level agency, Marketecs Engine, and joining our ecosystem. I'm currently offering discounts on one-on-one consulting to our affiliates and high-level users. So whether you're building an agency or a business, pick your path and let's drive results. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. So when we build out our high-level accounts and as we build out our automations, there are a lot of functions and features in these automations, and sometimes you can lose track of exactly what is triggering what automation without just understanding. And if you have multiple people in your system building things all at once, somebody used this tag over here to trigger this automation, and then somebody else used the same tag over here to trigger this automation, it could get pretty messy pretty quickly if you don't have really good organization. And if you're ever curious, okay, what does our newsletter tag trigger, for example, then your smart lists and your filters are the way to figure this out. So you have advanced filters here. And this is where you can choose, what are we looking for? Are we looking for a particular, just a workflow name, which is a pretty simple search? Not sure you need a filter for that unless there's added features. Are you looking for a particular status, whether it's actually published or in draft form? Trigger type, action type, those are big ones that you're not going to be able to see from the outside of the automation. You have to actually open every automation to see those. So these are where your advanced filters, I think, become very valuable. Looking at who last updated it and what tags are included, again, inside that automation without having to open it, search all the way down through and open every action to see what tags are involved in this. So this is where this becomes really useful. So let's say we want to know the trigger type is, and you can say is any of or exists, right? Trigger type is contact D&D, which is do not disturb. So we're going to say this. So this is saying any of our workflows that have a trigger type, meaning they're kicked off, they're started by this function, and we're going to apply and see how many come back. So in this account, none came back as triggered that way, which means if we start a new workflow that's triggered with that action, it's not going to interfere with any other existing workflows. And that's sort of what we're looking for with these advanced features. So let's see, let's pick a different one. If we do contact tag, so trigger type is contact tag, apply, nothing coming back with that. So I already have a pre-built feature. All right, so I'm going to cancel. So I'm going to remove my filter. So I go back to all of mine. I go back to all of my workflow lists, and you'll see up here at the top, this is where your smart list gets saved. So for example, I did already have a smart list saved with current client tags included in it. So with this saved, when I click on that, I can see what my filters are here. So this one includes, this wasn't based off a trigger. This was the initial option was, is there a tag? So tag is current client. And so in my demo account here, we have two automations that include current client somewhere within those automations. So again, this is where this can be really helpful to find out where those tags are being used and where those triggers are being used. So if we wanted to create a new smart list, there's a couple ways we can do that. If we go back to all workflows, we're going to clear our filters. So you can do what I did before, where you can start with a filter, you can create a filter and then save it, or you can start by create a new smart list. Go into advanced features, and this looks exactly like where I was before, figuring out my filters. So I'm going to say action type is remove contact tag, and I'm going to apply this. We have one automation that is currently using this. So we're going to name this as, we're going to name this using something identifiable from our filters. So we're going to say remove tag is part of this, remove tag action. That would be even better. All right, so we're going to save that. And now you'll see that we have another smart list up in the top here. So we have current client tags. These are the workflows that include that. Remove client action. This is the workflow that includes that. Go back to all of my workflows and my filters are cleared. So this is how you can create, save, edit, and use smart lists within the automations. All right, the last and probably a little lesser used is in the calendar system. So in the calendar system, if you go to appointment views, this is another place where you're going to see smart lists. And again, we have a similar looking advanced filters. The difference is that we can save our advanced filters as a smart list. So I would say a pretty popular one for this, and you can see when we automatically come in, we have upcoming, canceled, and all appointments. All appointments has no filters on. Canceled clearly has one filter on, and so does upcoming. So these are pre-built. So canceled includes a status of canceled, no-show, and invalid, and it's any of these items. So this is a pre-built example of a smart list. But then you can add your own custom versions. Maybe you want a smart list of canceled appointments for a particular user. You can also change the information that shows up on the list. So maybe you want to say user is, and I'll pick myself, and status is no show. And I'm going to apply that, and I'm going to save as new. And so there's my new smart list. I don't have any appointments in this account to show you, but 2 filters are applied. Now, I did forget to name this, so you can come back at any time and customize the list that you're on with this option here. And so this was Catherine's no-shows, and I'm going to save. So now I have Catherine's no-show appointments. So while I think these are a little less used, I think they're actually also very valuable, especially if you're a manager or you have a sales team and you want to quickly be able to pull that list of, okay, here's the appointments that happened for a particular user, here's the no-shows, here's the cancellations, and then you kind of have a much better picture of what's going on with those users. You would have the actual list of the appointment title, who was there, the status, the calendar, everything here. And like I said, you can customize the columns too. So you could say, like, where did that come from? So you have a picture, a better picture of the lead source and apply that. And then that would be part of, you can see where now I have the option to save that as part of this particular calendar, this particular smart list calendar. If I go back to all, that status is gone, but it's actually saved as part of my smart list for the source. All right, so hopefully you found that useful. Hopefully you thought of some use cases on how you can create smart lists to make your reporting and your data a little more usable, a little more user-friendly. And I would love it if you would like and subscribe to our channel for more tutorials on GoHighLevel. And feel free to leave a comment about how you're using this information and what you found most useful. In addition, you're going to find some links within the description and the comments. You can check out GoHighLevel. We have some great bonuses for you. You can check out Marketecs Engine. We would love to have you as a new subscriber and user and support you as you grow your business and manage your automations and your data better, as well as we have a consultation and some other freebies. So take a look in the description, like, subscribe, share, and comment. Thank you.